Hello, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a talk called 100%. I don't know why I feel the nudge to talk about Love's Beginning, just the name. I started the blog in 2017, and the day I started the blog, that's what I heard to call it. I was just kind of surprised that, oh, I'm doing this today. Okay, well, what's it supposed to be called? Love's Beginning. Okay, I didn't really think about it. But since then, I have thought about it, and I thought, well, there is no beginning and end. But Love's Beginning points me back to Source. That has that effect for me. So I guess the name doesn't insist there is actually a beginning, but it points me back to Source, to my home, to the home of the true self of everyone I meet, where I can focus instead of on the surface. So that's the effect of that name for me. That's where it came from. Where we all truly are is at that place that's not a place, and it's a non-place that can be focused on at any time, and that's very helpful. Okay, but the title of the talk today is 100%. And I found it very direct. Very direct. It's about it's about no compromises, not making any exceptions. I don't know, very direct and very helpful. So the first statement I was given is, don't cover up the core of hostility. Allow it to be uncovered. And at the same time, we can recognize that all our disturbing thoughts come from ego. They're not ours. We do have to go down through the layers to where we've attached to such thoughts and made them the core of our perceived as separate being, made them the core of our perceived as separate safety and stability. We have to allow all of that to be dismantled. I should go back to I language. I have to allow all of that to be dismantled. I have to allow myself to recognize and relax into the actual safety and stability that's here for all equally at all times. So in that, some hostile thoughts can come up, and I'm just searching for a specific example. I can't find one, but if I think of one, I'll share it with you. At times, I have a random weird thought will enter my mind that does not feel like my thought. And I can get distracted thinking, oh, maybe I'm just like a telepathic vacuum cleaner, so I can hear people's thoughts and help clean up. But no, that wasn't honest enough. That thought, whatever it was, I wish I could find an example for you, but one's not popping up for me. It's like a shockingly hostile thought. Well, yeah, I hate fill in the blank of name. It was an author of a book came to me, I don't know, last week or something. That was a shocker when that came to me. I hate fill in the blank with name. I'm not used to thinking that, to hearing that thought. So that was a shocker when it came to me. I bought that was my thought. It's often maybe when I'm in a crowd of people. If a shocking thought occurs to me, it seems to enter my mind, I'll think, well, that must be somebody else's. I'm telepathically helping with the cleanup. No, I think we got to bring it home. Ego offered me a thought, offered me an interpretation, offered me a way of looking at the world, and the shock of hearing the thought, the shock is the reactivity that points me toward find the thought, let it go immediately. So none of these hostile thoughts are anybody's separate thoughts. If you can think of that, if you can think of everybody you've ever seen in the world and all the things they seem to have expressed, and it's not theirs. I mean, they're not separate. It's not theirs. Any thought that occurs to me, I can take 100% responsibility for letting it go. Any hostile thought, 100% responsibility. So I don't have to think, oh, I'm just here to help telepathically, and that's not, no, I'm allowing the separate self structure, both the separate self I perceive to be me and the separate self I perceive to be you, to be dismantled, and it's made out of these thoughts. Okay, the other idea I was given is keep responsibility for making a fake world. So anytime I want to foist responsibility off on a separate entity, I'm confirming that there are separate entities, and that's real. So that's why I need to keep responsibility. In A Course in Miracles, it says, I made this up. We can always just stop and admit, oh, I made this up. Because wherever we're seeing strife or confusion or being misguided, we want to look out and analyze and judge and say, look at that over there. This is what's happening. This is what's going on with this one. And all of that decision making about what we're perceiving, all of that judgment and analysis is coming from ego. But if we go quiet and we go within to our shared self that has none of this decorative quality, none of this frippery, none of this, it's just shared, and it's whole, and it's pure, and it doesn't have separate qualities. That's what we're perceiving. That's what I'm projecting out there. So I can keep responsibility for making a fake world, because then I'm not victim to it, and I don't see you as victim to it. I can just relinquish the seeming building blocks of that fake world. What thought just occurred to me? Let me go in, release that in recognition. That isn't real. I can tune in right now to what is real, though, and I can appreciate you as you truly are, which is exactly that other guy as he truly is, which is exactly that other one as they truly are, which is exactly that villain over there as that one truly is. I can stop and go into that at any time, but then I have to give up my preoccupation with sorting and analyzing and judging and seeing separateness. My little pet project, I have to set it down. Okay, you can allow a fake world to dissolve, remembering that reality is shining underneath. So I think it's Byron Katie who talks about my business. What's my business? What's God's business? And this occurs to me, that the fake world is not my business. The character seems to be in the world and seems to have a role, but it's not my business trying to push it this way or that way or micromanage it. It's easy for me to say this sitting here right now, feeling Spirit helping me see and appreciating that. It's more challenging when I'm walking through my day, remembering that this perception, any stressful perception, is what I can allow to dissolve, and that what's real is shining here right now, and I can tune into that fully and allow that to lead, allow that to determine my entire perception. So what's the challenge is always the opportunity. And I do know from experience that I'm happier as I allow myself to tune into the wholeness and to let that run everything, to allow that to run the perception. So that's my opportunity every day. Instead of stepping forward as a separate one, trying to get what ego says that separate one wants, trying to avoid what ego says that separate one doesn't want, there is another path. I'm pretty deep in the weeds of still being entangled in, I want I don't want. I need, I want to get, I want to avoid. And just finding those thoughts one by one and stopping in a moment of presence and letting all of that go. It's a big opportunity we're having as we're bumping into those thoughts. Because we might think our happiness depends on getting what we want, but who's telling us what we want specifically? How does that feel? Is there anxiety there? Is there stress there? And I can say honestly, yes. When I think I don't have something that I need, there's stress there. And I can go into that, find the thought, let it go. Okay, let's see, where am I? Yeah, keep 100% responsibility for the world you see and allow 100% of your gratitude to flow to all your fellows. No exceptions. We don't make any exceptions in where the gratitude flows. Or we're not, oh, this is yesterday's lesson. We're not allowing it to flow to ourselves because everyone is us. What was yesterday's lesson in A Course in Miracles? It can be my gratitude I earn. So it's like the gratitude received it's only yours because there's only one of us. So you wouldn't want to limit its outflow because you wouldn't want to limit its inflow. Its outflow is its inflow. There's only that same perfect self at the core of all, seemingly separated by time, by space, but really only that one pure self. And we can allow ourselves to be trained to look there at all times and to be drawn out of reactivity, to understand that reactivity is not our happiness. Okay, so let me just go back over this. Keep 100% responsibility for the world you see. For my perception, I'm either allowing my perception to be determined by ego or by spirit. I have two choices. One's happiness and one is not. One claims it can give me happiness and it does sales jobs. Ego does sales jobs to convince, sends many thoughts to convince this is your path to happiness. The other one just is happiness, and it's a rememberable happiness. That's why we begin to choose that other path, because we remember, oh, this wholeness is me. It's everyone I call else. It is happiness. Happiness is not because of some separate thing. It's not conditional. It's not that. It's just here all the time, and it can be tuned into. So if I allow 100% of my gratitude to flow to all my fellows, no exceptions, then I'm not allowing any thought ego would send me to interfere with my perception. Am I there yet? Nope. I am receiving many opportunities every day to have the structure of the unreal undone for me. That's where I am. I'm in opportunity land. That's where I am right now. Okay. This is how 100% of the world emerges as a conduit for gratitude. Yeah, because as within, so without. So if I'm allowing that gratitude to flow without exception, then I start to see reflections of that everywhere. There's a fine line here because I don't want to get into the business of insisting that the world should change and how it should change. Then I get into ego territory of I like this and I don't like that, and I need this and I want this and I lack that, so somebody should give it to me. And it's just kind of a trust that the world will take whatever teaching form is most appropriate. And how does the world show you that you've learned your lesson? By reflecting harmlessness back to you. Now, I think there are two ways of looking at that. There's the idea that you can look at the chaos of all the seemingly contradicting perceptions you can see out there in the world and understand harmlessness shines eternally behind this. And I can always tune into that. But then there's what I know. This is hard to say in words. There's what I know and remember is our future. I know and remember how this goes, that we come into a reflection of harmlessness. That is how the world shows us that we have forgiven, that we're not seeing harm in each other. All the chaos dies down. I know this happens. I don't know when, because when is up to all of us. And as we allow our old perception to be washed away, time collapses come in. So it could take, as we experience time, it could take what seems like a very long time to get there, to this reflection of harmlessness, or it doesn't have to take long at all. But I know it, that's how it happens. I know it. And as you remember yourself, you know how this ends. It does end happily. It ends very happily. This illusion of chaos, it resolves into a recognition of universal harmlessness. And then the illusion passes away because we never needed it in the first place. But do I want ego to analyze and judge the separate things I seem to be seeing and to sort them into categories of this is harmful and this is harmless? No, I just get many reminders to tune into the shared and actual and real frequency of harmlessness that everybody shares. And there's my gratitude. My gratitude is for the reality of us, not for the fiction of us. So many opportunities for all of us all the time. And I'm wishing you well as you experience yours. Thank you.